Welcome to Conserved Aspects. Today's topic is gun control. The definition of gun control is the regulation of sales and use of firearms. Why do we have a Second Amendment? Well, the definition of our Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. This amendment was to stop the government from forcibly controlling us with no questions asked. If we didn't have this amendment, it would become a dictatorship and they would just tell us what to do with no problems because we cannot defend ourselves. Does it work? No. All this does is limit law-abiding citizens their right to bear arms. It doesn't stop criminals from possessing a firearm. Criminals will always be able to access illegal guns that are sold in black market or stolen from people's homes. Some gun violence criminal stats. States with stricter gun laws tend to be the ones with the most homicides by firearms and have increase in criminal actions. States like California, New York, Georgia, Illinois, etc. Another stat is 90% of mass shootings were in areas that were in gun-free zones or have massive gun laws. States with little to no gun laws usually stop shootings more quickly than people that do not allow people to carry. The people that do not possess a gun are in mass disadvantage than people that do. When someone knows you have protection, tend to not act on their actions. Guns save lives more than take. In self-defense cases, more than 500,000 people to 3 million people use firearms in self-defense every year. A negative side of having guns on the street is the deaths it creates. About 25,000 deaths, including suicides, happen every year. And suicide makes more than half those deaths, about 14,000 a year. When women have a concealed carry license and are able to carry firearms, they are less likely to be attacked, mugged, or kidnapped because they will not have guns to protect themselves. Majority of people will stop their attacks on the woman and back off due to the fact that they can lose their life and the woman is not defenseless. But overall, everyone should get properly trained on how to use and operate the weapon. So, do background checks work? They do work. And it is a tedious process that takes up to 10 days before you are able to buy a firearm in the state of California. It is not as easy as people say it is and harder than it seems. If you do not believe me, go to a gun store and try and buy a gun. They check all prior criminal records and check if you're mentally capable of possessing a firearm. Everyone has a different view on this, but I believe it should be only 1 day for the background checks. Because what if someone is being harassed and threatened and feels unsafe? And by law, which is dumb in my opinion, is that police cannot place a restraining order or do anything to stop harassers unless they committed crime. I think people should be able to protect themselves at all costs. Next category is what countries implemented gun control and what happened. Throughout the decades, multiple countries implemented gun control laws and disarmed their people. Countries like Nazi Germany, Turkey, and China. They all committed mass genocides after disarming their people or disarming certain groups of people they do not like. Why would we want to repeat what happened in the past? A recent question that came up recently was, is gun control racist? And I never thought about it. So I did some research. Coilin Noir made a video and I suggest you watch it. It has great information and I'll leave the link below. From what I found is yes, it is racist. Democratic politicians implemented a law to take guns out of minorities' hands and stop them from protecting themselves lawfully. Slave owners in the 1800s made it illegal for slaves to own and possess a gun because of fear of rebellion. Freedom fighters throughout the late 1800s to the 1960s used firearms to kill slave owners and stop Ku Klux Klan members. There are stories of when the KKK roamed through black neighborhoods to make them fear them and to try to scare out all the black people in those neighborhoods. Luckily, all those blacks in those neighborhoods had guns for their protection and would shoot at KKK members to keep them out of their neighborhoods, and it worked. Whenever gun control is implemented, it affects minorities the most. Most criminal acts are in all democratic cities with strict gun laws. All guns are mainly for protection. Some people use them for sport and hunting, and some use them as criminal acts. Government officials are the ones that are implementing these laws and say guns are bad and evil, but they all have guards with firearms to protect them. It doesn't make sense. They want to gain control over the minority and make them rely on the government for protection. I believe everyone should be independent and not rely on the government, because in the end, they do not care for the people. To end off this topic gun safety should be fundamental to everyone. Kids, mothers, fathers, and everyone in between. People need to know how to properly operate their firearms and how to safely use it. It's for the safety for them and everyone around them. Everyone should train regularly to show they can properly use one. Once people understand that guns are more safe to own and have, people would not fear the thought of gun control anymore. Another thing is that people need to learn to properly seal and lock firearms away, where people cannot steal it or use it on themselves or against another person's. I think if people properly put away their firearms, suicide by firearm can possibly decrease. But if they really wanted to, they would find another way to commit suicide. Causation doesn't mean correlation. I would like to talk about suicide in America versus the worldwide in a later date. Always be safe, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and possibly share. And have a great day. And stay safe, everybody.
Social justice, 1, 2, 3.